friends to Common Ground Conversation. I'm Dr. JoNeil Conley, and I'm with my dear friend, Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum.
Hi, everybody.
And over the
And we've
last year,
just been yakking before we even turned the camera on and all this good stuff we talked about. And now we have to try to recreate it for all of you.
we got to think, and Bonnie and I passed our year of doing this a while ago. And it started out, for those of you who haven't, you can go back and listen because we've got some really good stuff there. But we started out at the height of the election season and some of the stuff that was going on. And I believe this, and I don't believe this, and you're this, and I'm this, and all this. And
Oh, the
Bonnie,
name calling and the
name
split.
calling,
Ugh.
and we
Yeah.
both have different views, but we have a lot more to common than that. And when we were talking about it between ourselves, we each had family members and family because Thanksgiving was coming up, and people were like,
Yes.
"I'm not going to Thanksgiving with Uncle Albert. He's going to talk about the."
Yeah. Pass
And
the
so,
damn mashed potatoes.
yes, and so we started really on a higher level. But this particular topic is probably going to be real personal and real down to level to the individual of what's going on with you.
And don't be surprised if you feel your toes curling in your shoes as we're talking about some of the experiences we've been having, because we believe that most of us have been having these experiences.
Yeah. And I'm just finishing my book about bullying. Yay, I'll let everybody know what comes out. But in it, I talked about the fact that I studied bullying, I researched bullying, I did all that, and it still found me. Because it isn't like if you become a pro at this, it's never going to happen again. And that's, I think,
Right.
the one of the points we want to make is that Benny and I could sit down every day and have this conversation about something that's going on and that in the world and ourselves. Good Lord, I got up this morning and go, Mother of God, we're at war again. I mean, I just was
Mhm.
like, I can't do this kind of a thing.
Yep.
But
La 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 la.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so we started. I was telling Bonnie about some of the things that have been going on in my life and how it can get as granular as the person you sleep with, or the person you love, or the person
Mhm.
closest with you, and sometimes those are harder conversations to have.
Yes. So, what we want to talk about today is those difficult conversations that most of us tend to avoid, especially if they're going to make us feel vulnerable or bad or wrong, and how we really are not doing ourselves any justice by avoiding those conversations, especially with the people we love the most.
Or the other person. And I gave Bonnie a conversation. My husband has had an awful work experience, got treated badly by his company, blah, 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 all the things. But it changed drastically our income and our life and all of those kind of things. And I'd been keeping a secret from him. I had been having some debt that I hadn't shared with him, that I had incurred in the coaching practice and all of that. And that over the course of time, I've realized that was a trauma response of not feeling good enough and all those kind of things. But
One
I
more class, one more class,
one more
one more.
class.
Yeah.
But you got it. Another thousand adds up, adds up. And so I've known for a few weeks that this was the difficult conversation we had to have. And I spent time preparing for it. Not, I mean, I dreaded it. I didn't want to do it, all the things. But I really used my logic, my other side of my brain to get all the information, all my ducks in a row, so that when I had the conversation, it was facts, not emotion. And that took me some time to get to. Well, then over the weekend, there were some other things that happened, and it was like today's the day. And I knew that voice, that little voice was saying you need to have the conversation. And so we went gone to breakfast, and starting it in a public place. I don't know if that was safety or what, but I knew it was because I know my husband well enough to know that he's a kind, gentle, loving man, but this was huge. And so I started the conversation about I need help. I've done these things. I did this thing. And his exact words to me is, I know you've been carrying this for a long time and we can fix this. And we had conversation. We had that. Now, did he get upset? Did he get bothered? Yes, but it wasn't like he was going to throw me out with the trash. I knew even from his first conversations. Now, with my ex-husband, that conversation would have gone absolutely differently. I would have been a rotten, stupid, blankety blank. How could you do this? What were you thinking? Blah, blah.
Right.
And
And there's the trauma that even though this is an entirely different human,
yep,
that's still stuck in there.
exactly, exactly. And so I had realized that this was a trauma response. This I'm not enoughness. I need to do better. Blah 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 blah. But the point of this that we want you to understand is that I knew I would have rather had a root canal, an appendectomy, and my toenails picked off to have that conversation. I would have,
Yes.
I
And
would have,
how do we set ourselves up to be able to have the difficult conversations, the ones that make us feel vulnerable and shitty and less than and all the things?
hmm
How do we put on our big girl panties and have the conversation
yeah, yeah.
and
And
make the eye contact? For me,
mhm,
that's a hard one. I have a friend who she and I have been through all kinds of stuff. And oftentimes now we live at a distance from each other and
mhm.
we'll be on a Zoom. And if I get caught in that spiral, she'll say,
Oh,
look at me, make
yeah.
eye contact. And I'm like, whoa, it's so hard to do that. Like you're going, I
Mhm.
mean, if eyes are the mirrors of the soul,
Yeah.
you're going to see through me and you're going to see what a piece of crap I am. And yeah,
hmm and so yes, it's hard to have those conversations with work and all that, but it's hard to have them with those intimate relationships as well. And
yes.
and again, what I learned from this is I asked for help. I was 100% honest. I held nothing back. I was
Mhm.
as forthright as I could be, and I had my heart pounding the whole time. Even, then I cried on and off periodically through the day, but it was okay. And he kept saying it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Now,
And
again,
do you feel lighter a
oh my
bit?
gosh.
Yeah, yeah,
50 pounds, 50 pounds
yeah.
lighter, 50 pounds. Because holding that inside thinking, oh, if I work harder, if I do hard, I'll get this fixed. I can fix this on my own. And it wasn't something I could fix on my own. I did
No,
need, because
no.
it's not an area I'm particularly good at.
And not going to get good at when you're not allowing yourself to even deal with it.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
dealing with someone right now who has like I don't know, $150,000 worth of credit card debt.
Mm-hmm.
And she, years ago, had been in a hole like this. We dug her out and then she descended into it again. And
Yeah.
now she's so angry with herself for having slipped and created this mess again. And I'm like, the same tools that worked last time will work this time. What has to shift is how you're looking at
Mm-hmm.
yourself and
Because
being willing to ask for the help.
yeah, because you and I had worked on my stuff originally. This was part of what brought us together. And I still have the
Mhm.
worksheets and I still have this stuff. And I actually use
Yeah,
those. I use those tools.
we
And
need tools.
we need tools. And what it became was, and these are numbers. These are just numbers on a sheet.
Numbers. Right.
Numbers. And I was still okay. And these were numbers that we together could work on. And
Yes.
I would have never had that conversation with my former spouse or other people. But I guess that what I want to say too is it it turned out better than I thought it was going to be, and it was harder than I thought it was going to be. Both, and both of
Yes.
those things
Yes.
are true.
So maybe let's talk about what are the ways that you prepared yourself to pull on your bravery and have the conversation. What kind of, because I've got the tools that I use. What are the tools that you used that helped you actually open your mouth and say the words?
I prayed and I meditated about it, and I knew that this relationship matters more to me than that, and that I was willing to put my own discomfort aside and admit that I had, I said, I've made a mess of my life. He goes, no, you haven't. You made a mess of one piece of your life. Kind of a thing. Because,
True, very
I was like,
true.
because, I'm bad, I'm awful, I'm ugly, I'm stupid. No, one piece is
Yeah,
is is it.
yes.
And so the tools were being more factual than emotional. Anybody who knows me knows that that's really hard for me to do because I operate out of that piece. And it was I want to say forced, but this is what you have to do. If you're going to have the conversation, you can't go in there half cocked. You got to have all your ducks in a row. And you have to be willing to be quiet and let him react instead of trying to negotiate or navigate or explain or anything.
Or
And
manipulate their reaction.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and like I said, I started it in a public restaurant. I don't know if that was the best, but we were in the corner. But because we have our best conversation Sunday morning at the over pancakes kind of a thing. But we actually continued the conversation when we got home, and
Mhm.
so and I would just encourage be prepared, be as prepared as you can be. Because
Yes.
I guess we could play out had the reaction been different,
Hmm.
then I would have had more information to go with. I would have
Right.
had it would have been information I could use.
Yes. I also think if you know your person and you know that the reaction is not likely to be great,
Hmm.
I think it oftentimes can be very helpful to lead with what you hope to have happen. So I have something I need to talk to you about. I'm really hoping that you can offer me some grace as I talk about this difficult, painful thing. That's what
Hmm.
I'm hoping for.
Hmm.
Lay some groundwork. Let them know what it is you're looking for.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes I also think something that we bump into is everybody wants to fix everybody else.
Hmm.
And I, for one, when someone starts popping in, well, you ought to do this and you should do that, I'm like,
Hmm.
so sometimes I will lead with, and now my family has caught on to this and they'll do the same thing. I want to tell you this. I don't want you to fix it.
Yeah. I say, do you want me to hear or do you want me to help? Those are my two.
Perfect.
When
Yeah.
somebody comes to me, I can hear or I can help. You got to let me know
Yes.
ahead of time because I'm going to use different sides of my brain or different parts of my brain
Yes.
in those
Different tools.
in
Yeah.
those conversations. But this morning, Bonnie gave this absolutely beautiful reading about metamorphosis and change. And if you don't watch her morning in the morning, I watch her morning at 7:15 in my pajamas with my cup of coffee. But and it's available to folks throughout the day. It's on your
Yeah.
YouTube channel, it's on your face.
Right.
But
And I'll just tell you what it's called. It's actually a guest post that someone did on Chip Conley's. He does a daily. The idea of blogging daily. Oh my goodness, I can
yeah,
talk every day on Yumig, but yeah, it's the chrysalis, imaginal cells, and the butterfly
yeah.
by Dana Colley.
Hmm. And when she said that, imaginable cells,
Imaginal cells. Yep.
that's hard to. I got what the fudge nuggets is that? And what it was, and I'm going to paraphrase and Bonnie jump in here, is that like the caterpillar has these cells that already knows it's going to be a butterfly. And we have cells inside of us that already know that we have the opportunity, we have the ability,
Capacity.
we
Yeah.
have the capacity and the agency to become something different.
Yes.
And I just found that
And
to
when
be,
we're in the middle of caterpillarhood or in the middle green muck stage, we couldn't for a lifetime imagine butterfly,
mhm, yeah.
but it's there for us. There's so much there for us. So this person I'm working with who has this massive amount of debt, one of the things that I told her the previous time when she dug herself out, because she does the work. I'll give her the tools, but she does the work. I'll hand her the shovel, right?
Yeah.
Um, what I said to her was, take the baby steps. As you show up in faith and take those baby steps, the universe begins to respond in spades. So
Mhm.
interestingly, and this is a I find myself doing this one also. What happened to that round was COVID. So what
Oh,
happened with COVID? We
oh,
got checks. She took those checks and used those as jumping off points for paying things back and getting things cleaned
okay.
up, blah, blah. So now this time, what does she say? Well, we're not going to have COVID again. I'm not going to get those checks. And I'm like, girl,
Yeah. Yeah.
the universe has more tools in its pocket than just COVID checks. Come
Yeah,
on,
for sure.
show up, do your work, do your due diligence, and watch what the universe begins to hand you. Watch the windows and doors that begin to open.
Hmm. And in that reading, was that the reading about the green muck or was it a different one?
That no, Green Muck is Sumunk Kid.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes. But this one, let me read the imaginal cells piece
Yeah.
because I just think that's cool. In biology, imaginal cells are tiny clusters of living intelligence. Isn't that a cool way to put it? Hidden inside a caterpillar. Long before wings appear, long before flight is even imaginable, these cells quietly carry the blueprint of what the creature will become.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. The blueprint. the blueprints.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And when we are willing to show up for the difficult conversations, that is telling the universe and whomever we're talking to that we're ready.
Mm-hmm.
We're ready. We're not hiding from things anymore. We're not going la la la. We're showing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the emotional drain of that, of carrying that baggage
Hmm.
is profound,
Yeah.
profound. Like I said,
Which we oftentimes don't realize until
uh-uh.
after the fact.
Yeah. How much weight did you lose? 50 pounds of stress,
Exactly.
kind of thing.
Exactly.
And and I'm going to be real honest too, in that I was ashamed, I was bothered, and I also I can do this, I can fix this. And holding on to that um, kept me from getting somebody who knows what how to do it, kind of a thing.
I have to do it myself.
I have to prove myself, and the
Yeah.
energy that I was taking to do that, or taking away from all kinds of places in my life, and all kinds
Hmm.
of peace and
Hmm.
joy. And no
Hmm.
amount of tapping or any of that is going to erase that huge guilt that you feel, that huge pocket of pus that's running around inside. And
And probably not, especially if you haven't really you haven't lanced the wound.
right.
On the other hand, once you have
Oh,
owned,
oh,
okay, I have a drinking problem, I have a spending problem, I have an eating problem, I have a
hmm,
relationship avoidance problem, whatever it is, once you've owned it, then the tools, tapping, breathing, all the things are so helpful.
yeah,
So
come in,
helpful.
you know. And isn't it when the student is ready, the teacher will appear,
Mhm.
you
Hmm.
know?
And sometimes when as my sister says, the shit jumps off, we're standing there going, what am I supposed to be learning here?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've yelled up to God, haven't I had enough? What wilt thou? Yes, all the things, all the things. And the
Mhm.
hardest part though is that when you do it to yourself, nobody did this to me. I did it to myself. And it's like if you get hit by a car, it's like that bad drive, you have a place to put those feelings or those that this was me. I had nobody else to blame but myself.
And interestingly, if we think about leveling ourselves up, if we're going from that 3D way of functioning to a 5D way of functioning, we are going to be called to not be blaming anyone.
Yeah.
This is unfolded for whatever reasons. Maybe I know the reasons, maybe I don't know the reasons. I would suggest to us that we don't know all the reasons.
Oh, for sure. Oh, isn't that just the truth? Yeah.
Yes,
What is it? Faith is only faith if you believe without seeing, kind of thing. That's what faith is. If you can see, that's not faith.
yes, exactly. And if we had all the answers, we have no way to develop faith.
Yeah. Hmm. And faith when you can't see any way out. Ugh, and it just goes
Yeah.
on and on and on and on and on. And it's like,
And sometimes, like even talking to myself, journaling this morning, it was like, okay, one toenails width forward. That's all you got to do, Bon. One
mm-hmm,
toenails width forward.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Leaps and bounds are overrated.
And and I'm not saying it's because I'm old that all this wisdom has now come to me. But I didn't have wisdom when I was younger. I mean, I had some, but I didn't have the level of wisdom that I have now in terms of being able to say, it depends. If this is gonna be, I don't know, it depends. It kind of, yeah, maybe. Things are not as black and white as we think they are.
No, and how much of that wisdom actually came from stumbling, falling, banging your head against the wall,
Yeah,
the mistakes?
yeah.
We really, really, really should welcome
Mm-hmm.
mistakes because they
Mm-hmm.
teach us so much more than successes do.
They do. They do.
Yeah.
So this conversation has been about having some of those dicey conversations that do matter. I mean, this really mattered in my life. It mattered in our marriage. It mattered in our all the things. And
Hmm.
I put it off and put it off, put it off, put it off, put it off. Now, the dear Lord shoved my hand, pushed my hand when Bob's job situation changed in such a way. I mean, because I kept thinking, I can do this, I can do this, and all of a sudden, no, I don't have time. No, it has to be now. I have to have this conversation now.
Hmm.
And I
And
still,
that's a gift. That was a
yeah,
gift. Yeah.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So, my lesson, my lesson is do the preparation, then do it. Just,
Yeah.
I don't say go into it unprepared. I say if you're going to have one of them dicey conversations, like in my case, just be as prepared as I could and have the information and the knowledge because I knew this was going to be a numbers kind of a thing. Um, and also
And
because
yeah,
it
and
let,
be ready for whatever, what are you most afraid of? And then
yes.
prepare for that.
Hmm.
Prepare for that.
And then let loose of the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And that's huge for me, the control freak that I am, wanting to have control. And this was not anything I couldn't control his reaction. I couldn't control the response. I was very blessed at how the response was. It was marvelous and wonderful and soothing and loving and kind and all the things and firm
Mm-hmm.
and firm kind of a thing. Because I did go in asking for help. If you ask for, and I do need help. If I ask for his help, I got to be willing. That doesn't mean he stripped me of my agency because are definitely doing this together. But
Mm-hmm.
he's better at it than I am. So
And
that's
if you're asking for ideas, allow them to generate ideas.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, yeah.
You still get to decide, well, yes, this, and I don't know about that one, and whatever. Keep the
Mm-hmm.
conversation going.
So the common ground in all of this is both of us love each other very much and I want our marriage to succeed. That's our common ground. That we were both
Mm-hmm.
committed to that. And I
Mm-hmm.
think, that was never in question. I did have a moment like, God, he's gonna divorce me over this. And I knew that wasn't gonna happen. But you do have those
Yeah,
worst
the sky is falling
worst case
moments.
scenarios. But I think
Mm-hmm.
figured out what that common ground was. And the
Mm-hmm.
common ground was having a healthy dialogue, healthy finances, healthy relationship. And today I'm
Yes.
incredibly happy.
Awesome. So, what we want to have you thinking about is, what are the things about which I've been less than honest? Am I carrying 50 pounds of weight that really I don't need to be carrying? What are the difficult conversations that I have not been willing to
Mhm.
have? And you want to think them through. There may be some things where you decide, yeah, this thing is left better unsaid. If it's challenging your boss on something or whatever, you may decide
Sure.
the ick is not worth the wow.
Right.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But we appreciate those of you who have followed us and subscribed to our channel. And Bonnie has a morning yamig or early
Yep, your
morning and
your early morning intuitive guidance, and I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn,
YouTube.
YouTube, and I'm
And
I'm working on I'm working on a couple other platforms that aren't playing nice with the software, but
yes.
yeah.
Yeah. But again, learning something new. I think that's the
Yes.
other piece of this.
I'm being the old dog. I'm learning new tricks.
Absolutely. And again, what being old means you're either stuck or you're not, or you're willing, because we know people that are like, it's the only way we've ever done it. That's how we're
Yep.
doing it. Or
And there are people
oh,
who are in that third phase of their life that are vibrant and curious and joyful and
mhm.
all the
Well,
things.
that was the end part of that reading that you did today about
Hmm.
it's not what is the community called a MIC, some kind of a
Oh, MEA,
and,
Modern Elder Academy.
and it was people living in a intentional community and enjoying and actually maximizing their senior years,
Yes.
maximizing them in a way that they had found a place of commonality and found a group and found all
And
of that.
vibrant people who, yes, were,
Yeah.
yeah. There was a part in here that was just really cool. Just kind of as an ending point. I think this would be
Hmm.
cool. And it was talking about the coming together. Individually, they may feel tentative and uncertain. Collectively, they become catalytic. I just
Yeah.
thought that was awesome. What a way to put it. So
Hmm.
that's what we're hoping to help all of us do with these common ground conversations. Make those relationships
Yes.
catalytic.
Love that word. Love that
Yeah.
word. My dad worked in the transmission plant at Buick, and we know all about catalytic converters.
Yes,
Kind of thing.
absolutely.
Again, join us again. We try to do these about every couple weeks, and if you have any topics you want us to discuss, let us know. We're
Yeah. Put them
we're
in the
pretty
feed.
open to tackle just about anything, I think.
Well, and interestingly, typically when we do this, it's whatever's going on right at the moment. That's what we're
Yes.
talking about.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
we're open to whatever you'd like to hear us talk about.
So
So,
subscribe, follow, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
thanks for tuning in. Bye, everybody.